वागादिरोगान् सततानुशक्तान् अशेषकाय प्रसतान् शेषान् असुख्यमोहारतितान् जगान्य यो पूर्ववेद्याय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै. My humble pranam to all my gurus. A very warm good evening to all. Today we are on the first day of this lecture series on various subjects of Ayurveda organized by Youth of Ayurveda Association. In this we will be talking about introduction to history of Ayurveda. So let's start. We all know that every nation, culture, tradition, science, race have a historical background, and only through the knowledge of history we can know about them. If we see Amar Kosha, a Sanskrit Shabdakosha, then it says about history that Ityas is Purvavrit, past incidences. Dr. Radhakrishnan says history is the memory of nation or race. Aristotle says history is an account of unchanging past. Overall, we can say that all past incidences happened over a period of time comes under history. Thus, the history of Ayurveda is a scientific study of origin and development of human attempts in combating diseases, especially in Indian subcontinent. Now, what is the need to know about history? No study of any science is complete without the study of its history. For direction of new scientific research and to avoid previous research works, to develop a sense of pride and to inspire new scholar, one must have historical knowledge of any science. I am sure that in this corona era, many of Ayurvedic scholars get inspired and motivated after seeing the result of Ayurvedic medicines on corona patients, and they also feel motivated that they are studying Ayurveda. On analysis of origin of Ayurveda, we found that Ayurveda is a part of Vedic literature. There are 18 subjects of study in Vedic literature. Among them, Ayurveda comes under Upaveda. If we see the references of Ayurveda in 4 Ved, then we found that in Rig Veda there are references of many diseases, types of treatment like Devyapashray, Yukti Vyapashray, Chikitsa, knowledge about medicinal plants, and there are references of divine physician Rudra and Ashwini Kumar, whom also known as Devanam Bishajo. Ashwini Kumar are the example of an ideal physician who are experts not only medicines but also in the surgery as well. A comprehensive and systematic treatment of medicine is found mainly in Atharvaveda. There are many examples in Vedic period which shows that in Vedic period not only medical human science but also veterinary science is also in its well developed form. And like Veda, Ayurveda is also eternal. There are many references regarding its eternity in Samhita text, like Charak Samhita says, "So ayam shashvato nirdishyate." So ayam Ayurveda shashvato nirdishyate. Here the word shashvat means present all time. Ashtanga Hridaya says, "Brahma smritva ayusho vedam." Means Brahma remembered Ayurveda, which means it present before Brahma, which shows its eternity. He did not invented new knowledge, he only revealed what already exists. We can understand it like that gravitational force was even before Newton was born, but he was given credit of its discovery. Likewise, rishis recognized the mantra with the help of tapas and dhyan, and they made available to all of us for serving the humankind. Now, if we look at the descent of Ayurveda from Vedic period to Samhita period, then we found that the transmission of knowledge of Veda from Brahma to Ved Vyas on earth through several rishis in between around 5000 BC. Like that, only the knowledge of Ayurveda is also transferred from Brahma to earth through several rishis. The text from Charak Samhita to Brahma Vaitran Puran all explain Avtaran of Ayurveda. If you see according to Charak Samhita, then the knowledge of the Ayurveda is transferred from Brahma to Daksha Prajapati, from Daksha Prajapati to Ashwini Kumar, from Ashwini Kumar to Indra, from Indra to Bharadwaja, from Bharadwaj to Punarvasu Atre, and Maharshi Atre gives this knowledge to his 6 disciples, respectively Agnivesh, Bhel, Jaturkan, Parashar, Sharpani, and Harith. The period from Brahma to Indra, we can classify it as a Vedic period, and from Bharadwaj onwards, we can classify it as a Samhita period. During the Vedic period, the knowledge is mainly in the form of Shruti, means transmitted orally from generation to generation. There is no written document as such. And in Samhita period, there is available, the knowledge is available in the form of written text like Samhitas. During the transmission of knowledge, we may think or question about that is the principle of Ayurveda or evidence based or not. Then there is a clear reference in Samhita that Siddhanto nam sa yah parikshikei bahuvidam pariksh hetubhisht sadhitva sthapit nirnaya. And what are the hetus are? Hetus are pratyaksh anuman ete opyamya iti. Means before documentation of the principle of Ayurveda like Tridosha, Saptadhatu, Prakriti, Dincharya, Ritucharya, Samprapti of various diseases, and Chikitsa Siddhant of various diseases, they all are tested again and again with scientific tools known as Pramana, which shows that Ayurveda is an evidence-based science. Now if we look at the time period from 1500 BC to 6th century, then we found that during this period, the main classical text of Ayurveda like Charak Samhita, Shushruta Samhita, Ashtanga Sangraha, Ashtanga Hridaya were developed. In this text, all 8 clinical branches of the Ayurveda are described together with its fundamental principles, which shows that Ayurveda is on its full-fledged developmental form during this period of time. From 7th century AD to 17th century AD, the other texts of Ayurveda like Shadanga Samhita, Bhav Prakash Samhita, Madhav Nidan all are developed, and commentaries on Charak Samhita, Shushruta Samhita, and Ashtanga Sangram and Hridayam texts was done by great scholars like Chakrapani, Dallan, Indu, Arundatta, Hemandri, and many more. Other texts of Ayurveda, like for Ras Shastra, Bheshaj Kalpana, Dravaguna, all are flourished during this period of time. This is the time period when most valuable scripture of our knowledge in our country was destroyed by foreign invader, which is a great loss to our science and our culture also. From 18th century to present time, many authors like Gannath Sen, Yadavji Tikramji, Dr. P.M. Mehta, Dr. Ghanekar, Damodar Sharma Gode, Priyavraj Sharma, and many more had contributed with their knowledge in the form of valuable texts to Ayurveda. In 1987, Ayurvedic medicine classes were begun at Government Sanskrit College of Kolkata. In 1927, a 5-year BMS course was offered at BHU. And like that, many Ayurveda colleges including NIA Jamnagar, IPGT RA, All India Institute of Ayurveda New Delhi were stabilized. And various educational committees, Department of Ayush, Ministry of Ayush, CCRS, CCIM, Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia Commission, Rashtriya Ayurveda Vidyapith, National Medicinal Plant Board, Traditional Knowledge Digital Library, Drug and Cosmetic Act, National Pharmacovigilance Program, and like that many other program and institute are important historical milestones in the growth and development of Ayurveda in our country. WHO also have many collaborative research projects with Ayurvedic University and Ministry of Ayush for further research and development of Ayurveda. Dr. G. Geeta Krishnan was appointed as Technical Director of Traditional Medicine at WHO since 2018. If we see globally, then like yoga, Ayurveda is also accepted nowadays. We all know this proverb that old is gold. And Ayurveda is the oldest system of medicine. Rather than we can say it's science of life. So it's our moral duty to avail the world with the true golden knowledge of Ayurvedic science. At last, I am thankful to all the listeners of Youth of Ayurveda and Dr. Dhanvantri Jha sir for giving me this opportunity. And I am especially thankful to my dear friend Dr. Pritesh Agnihotri, who gives me immense supports during the preparation of this lecture. Jai Dhanvantari, Jai Ayurveda.